Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys are doing great wherever you're watching from today. We have some big news. Ukraine reportedly has agreed to a peace deal to end the war with Russia. But this might not be as simple as it sounds once we actually start peeling back the onion and getting into the layers of this situation. But you heard me correctly. Ukraine reportedly has accepted a U.S. drafted peace deal to bring the fighting and dying in Ukraine to an end. But will it hold? Let's talk about it. Plus, we do have some more combat footage out of the crisis between Ukraine and Russia. Lot to discuss, lot to get into. Before we do, as always, please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free. Cost you guys absolutely nothing at all. Huge boost to the channel. Comment with your thoughts below. You guys have been amazing in the comments. Keep it coming. That is also huge. And I love seeing the debates, discussions we're having. So thank you very much. Hit that bell. All notifications turned on. You won't miss a thing. Instagram, David_Hookstead, X, D Hookstead. My DMs are wide open. Reach out with whatever you got. You got a good tip? Let me know. You just want to say hello? I love that too. And then, as I've been saying, we launched 2 membership tiers. I kept both incredibly cheap because I want everyone to be involved who wants to be involved. Members only live chats, members only live streams. If you comment and you're a member on any of the public videos, you are getting a guaranteed response 100% of the time. So thank you very much to all of you who have already joined. I look forward to it. Now let's get into it. Ukraine and Russia are coming up on the 4-year anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The death toll has been incredibly tragic. The dying, the brutality, the whole situation is an absolute disaster. It is an absolute mess. And for 2 different presidential administrations, the Biden administration and now Trump for his second term, there have been a lot of different moving pieces of how can we bring this to an end. Trump, originally after returning to office, tried to negotiate with Putin, tried to negotiate with all sides, didn't really work. So then we pivoted. The Trump administration pivoted to a different strategy of let's flood Ukraine with intelligence and weapons, and let's have them hammer and hit Russian oil and energy infrastructure deep inside Russia with U.S. assistance in hopes that it brings the Russians to the table. And those strikes have been incredibly successful. They have caused significant damage to Russian oil energy infrastructure. Now it appears that a peace deal, at least from the American and the Ukrainian side, is going to hold. Initially, there was a 28-point plan that all sides seemed to kind of hate other than the Russians. The Europeans hated it. The Ukrainians hated it. Many within the U.S. government hated it. So they went back to the table, redrafted a new peace proposal. And now that peace proposal, according to all sides, is been accepted by the Ukrainians. So this comes from CBS News. Ukraine agrees to peace proposal with only minor details to settle, officials say, but no word from Russia. A U.S. official told CBS News on Tuesday that Ukraine's government has agreed to a peace deal brokered by the Trump administration to stop Russia's nearly 4-year assault. The American official and Ukraine's national security advisor, Rustem Umerov, said a common understanding on a proposal had been reached with details still to be worked out. Umerov voiced optimism that Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky could travel to Washington before the end of November to finalize an agreement. CBS News was first reported on Sunday that U.S. and Ukrainian officials previously discussed a potential visit to the U.S. this week by Zelensky. The Ukrainians have agreed to the peace deal, a U.S. official told CBS News. There are some minor details to be sorted out, but they have agreed to the peace deal. The news comes as U.S. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll was in Abu Dhabi to meet with Russian officials. 2 U.S. officials and 2 diplomatic sources who were not authorized to speak publicly told CBS News. A 5th source with knowledge of the talks also confirmed Driscoll's presence in the capital of the United Arab Emirates. Over the past week, the United States has made tremendous progress towards a peace deal by bringing both Ukraine and Russia to the table. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt wrote on X Tuesday morning, there are a few delicate but not insurmountable details. Still dealing with the old noggin, getting my bell rung. That must be sorted out and will require further talks between Russia, Ukraine, and the United States. There was no immediate reaction from Russia, the invading force, to what was agreed to in Abu Dhabi, and there were no details from U.S. or Ukrainian officials about what was in the latest proposal. Umerov said on Tuesday that Ukraine has agreed to core terms of a peace proposal amid the ongoing talks in Abu Dhabi, which include U.S., Ukrainian, and Russian officials, though not all together at the same time. Speaking earlier on Tuesday, veteran Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, that is the Russian equivalent of the Secretary of State, told reporters that while Russia appreciates the U.S. position, which is taking the initiative in resolving the Ukrainian conflict, Moscow operates professionally, not leaking information before formal agreements are reached. Russia expects the U.S. to inform it of the results of the consultation with Ukraine and Europe in the near future. Umarov said in a social media post on Tuesday, the country's negotiators had reached a common understanding on core terms of an agreement discussed among the U.S., European, and Ukrainian officials in Geneva. We now count on the support of European partners in our further steps. We look forward to organizing a visit of Ukraine's president to the U.S. at the earliest suitable date in November to complete final steps and make a deal with President Trump. Lastly, a U.S. military official said, we are very optimistic. Secretary Driscoll is optimistic. Hopefully we get feedback from the Russians soon. This is moving quick. So I'm going to pull this off the screen real quick to discuss this. So the Ukraine, I'm trying to get my thoughts out there. The Ukrainians have agreed to a redrafted new proposal, different from the 28-point proposal. There were some major sticking points in the 28-point proposal, specifically that Ukraine had military caps. Ukraine was going to have to give up territory that the Russians weren't even didn't even have control of yet. That Ukraine was going to have to give up certain weapon systems. It was a deal that was not good for Ukraine. Let's just call it what it is. This deal is supposed to, from the sounds of it, be more pro-Ukraine, better for the Ukrainians, although we don't know the specific line items that might have been changed, taken out, or added. So now what's going to happen is this deal is going to get kicked to the Russians. So the United States has agreed to it. The Ukrainians have agreed to it. The Europeans have agreed to it. But will the Russians agree to it? Because if the Russians don't agree to it, then the war rages on, right? The deal doesn't continue or won't go through if the Russians say, nah, we're not doing this. You guys can have all that peace deal you want. We're not doing this. So that the ball is now in the Russians' court, and the Russians feel that they have all the battlefield advantages. They have the manpower advantage. They can continue this war on. They can grind them out in a meat grinder. They can get in the trenches. They can throw more bodies at the war machine. And they might not be incentivized to say, oh, well, we'll do this. We'll take this deal if we think we currently have the edge. So this deal is far from finalized. Yes, Ukraine has agreed to it. Yes, the United States has agreed to it. Yes, the Europeans have agreed to it. If the Russians don't agree to it, none of that matters. If the Russians don't agree to the deal, then the war will continue. It's just that simple. It is just that simple. I'm not here to make you guys feel good. I'm not here to pat you on the back. I'm here to tell you the truth. And that is the truth of the matter. It is just that simple. If they do not agree, the Russians, Putin, who's shown no indication he wants a deal, if they don't agree to it, then the war will rage on. And on that note, the war is continuing to rage on as I'm making this video. So I'm going to put this on the screen. So it says footage of Ukrainian SAM knocking down a Russian Shahed attack drone over the city of Dnipro. Oops, got to go full screen for you here. So that's really wild. So that was an attack drone coming in. Surface to air missile comes in and wipes it out right here. Boom. And we've got more. So let me share this one. A Ukrainian cruise missile hit Russia's Taganrog airfield tonight, sparking a major fire. Go full screen. You can see the flames blazing. Massive fireball from a missile strike on a Russian airfield. And then here, this is actually the cruise missile inbound to that field. You can hear it being launched. You can hear machine gun fire. Let's watch it again. And then lastly, right here, this is some good footage. It says major Ukrainian drone attack on Russia's Black Sea coast near Novorossiysk. Tonight, seen here, a Russian surface-to-air missile intercepts a Russian apartment building. So the Russians accidentally blew up their own building. This is terrifying. Let me make sure. I think the audio might have cut out there. So I'm going to actually put the audio and make sure that you guys can see it, because that is nuts. And I want to make sure you guys can actually hear that.
Ебать, она рычит. Пацаны.
Unbelievable.
Ебать, она рычит. Пацаны.
All right, I'm going to pull that off the screen now. So that is where we are at. We have attacks that are still continuing. Ukraine has said they are agreeing to the peace deal, the U.S. drafted peace deal. Now all eyes turn to Russia. Will Russia take the deal? Will Russia bring an end to this brutal, terrible war? Will Russia end the killing and the dying? Will they end the invasion? Or will they reject the U.S. crafted peace deal and the war continues? My guess right now is the Russians will reject this deal because they don't see it as friendly enough to the Russians. That is my guess. I don't know that. I don't have proof of that, but that is what I believe at this time is likely to happen. We shall see. It's a serious situation. It is a rapidly developing situation. And quite frankly, it's just a downright tragic situation. There's no other way to sum it up other than saying that. But I want to know what you guys think. Please let me know if you think this peace deal stands in the comments below. Make sure to let me know all your thoughts in the comments. Let's get a great conversation going. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free. Costs you guys absolutely nothing at all. Huge, huge, huge boost to the channel. Right here, Instagram, David_Hookstead, XD Hookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. Hit that bell. All notifications turned on. And then please do check out, linked below, 2 different membership options in the bio and the pinned comment. I want as many of you want to come along for the ride. We got a lot of fun stuff planned. Thank you. We will continue to do all these daily videos for free. They will never, ever, ever be behind any kind of membership, but we will have special perks for members. So please do consider it. Do check it out. Kept prices very, very, very affordable. If you have anything on your mind, let me know. I'll see you all next time.